Hello, my friends. It is your well woman practitioner, LaShanna Moore of Holistically Well, in another podcast episode of Holistically Speaking, but not just any old episode. Episodes that help to strengthen your life, mind, body, soul, and spirit so that you can simply be well and be whole. That's what it is always about. And so this episode is no different. Listen, I'm excited about this new series, ending the year with this new series called the Burnout series, where I'm going to be addressing a few common areas of interest for all of us. This first episode, of course, is going to start with probably the biggest one of all, and that is social media. But it's not going to be a gripe session. This is going to be more so a conversation of curiosity as well as a conversation of consideration. If you're watching Well Life TV, you see my drink of the day. It's a juice. I'm supporting this new business here in Houston. The young lady just moved from New Orleans. It's called Kelly's 100% Raw Juice. And this one, let's see what's in this one. Oh, it's not on here. It was on the actual little emblem that I bought, but it's good. It's locally sourced. And so I am supporting her business today. And so that's what I'm drinking. I usually like to share what I'm drinking if I am. But let's hop into this conversation. Let me give a moment of gratitude first for each of you who are subscribers, who are listeners, who are supporters in any capacity. I greatly appreciate it. I say thank you to you, and I pray that the work that I do is always enriching and challenging in a good way. That's the goal. So, thinking about social media, I think all of us can agree that it has evolved throughout the years. I can't even begin to tell you when social media actually began. Let me look at something real quick because I remember MySpace. And then we had, if you are in the Black community, Black Planet. Was very popular back in the day as well. So, what I'm pulling up is that social media, the evolution of social media began around 1997. The first social media site was born and it was called 6 Degrees. I don't remember that. It was called 6 Degrees, and you could set up a profile page. Let's see. And then right around the 2000 boom, year 2000, Y2K is really when more creators and influencers came on site. Facebook, YouTube, it says nurtured millions. They're calling it, they nurtured millions of insecurities. Well, I guess we could kind of say that because when you understand the backstory of some of these, remember Napster, Facebook, MySpace was considered a place for friends, and it was a lot more easygoing in terms of just the leisure aspect of using it and having fun with it and the creative ability that it gave you for your page. Remember, we had screensavers, we had like wallpaper, you had your top list, you had music, you could do transitions, you could do all kind of stuff. Twitter came in, I think it said 2006, although the birth date is documented for 2004. LinkedIn came in 2006. YouTube made partner and came on the scene officially 2007, although they were launched 2005. Remember Tumblr, hashtags arrived 2007, just giving us a little backstory on some of this stuff. There's a whole bunch, but those are some of the popular ones. Foursquare, I never got into, but that was 2009. And then it just really took off, and this has become our leisure, social, business, professional interaction, engagement, and exchange. Now, from education to people who are considered or consider themselves as educators, gurus, experts, your go to people. This is where we are with it. And I have observed myself as well evolving in my interest, my desire, and my concern and curiosity about social media. So I'm a person that I'm a pushbacker. And when I say that, I mean a pushbacker in terms of really digging into the explanation of why people deem something as needed or important. And I, like many, were on the bandwagon with social media at the beginning of its boom. Not the creation, but at the beginning of its boom, and that you needed to do A, B, and C in order to succeed, in order to make your idea happen, in order to make money, in order to do all of these things. And then came in algorithm, and the whole conversation around algorithm came into play, and it has created a cycle of hustle and rush and fatigue and burnout. And so one of the things that I am really considering, and I've have intentional conversation with friends who are in business or who are aspiring to do various things in these seasons of their life, having conversation with them about where we see ourselves and our involvement. This keeps dropping the light, and our involvement in social media in the years to come, and where we see social media going. I am intentionally thinking about how I want to be active, how I want to be engaged on social media as we enter a new year. At the time of this recording, it's 2022, the last quarter of the year. We're going into 2023. And because my conviction has evolved in a way that I don't believe that I need social media to be fulfilled, to be successful, to make money, to make connections. Although, listen, the tool is there. I think that is the moderation to consider, that the tool is there. But in that, my conviction has evolved in this way. I'm thinking about how I want to have presence. I'm a public-private person. Just a quick private share, or just a quick transparency share, rather. I'm a public-private person. I grew up with my life in public as a PK, and I didn't necessarily prefer that, but it was I inherited it because of my parents and because we had a very visible ministry that did very well. My father became a national figure as he traveled and preached, and his gift and ministry is just one of a kind. And so naturally, as PKs, you inherit a whole bunch of stuff that you don't want to. So for me, social media is an intentional public-private thing. It's not something that I aspire to gain celebrity from. I'm married to a wonderful man who has a certain sense of celebrity because of the work that he does as a singer and an influencer in that space, and also being a singer who has a voice. This guy being my husband, one of a kind. Truly, truly, if you have experienced Gene Moore, you know exactly what I am talking about. So visibility for him and the work that he does is inevitable, and then consequently for me as well. So taking this just deliberate care of presence on this thing. And so these are the concerns, sharing these concerns with you, and then I'm going to get into the curiosity and then considerations, but how we want to be viewed. So we've heard all of the things. You've heard about what to do, what not to do if you are a business person. I don't have to go into those details. Things are constantly coming down the pipeline: subscriptions, plans, webinars, packages, conferences, intensive, intensives. All of these things have been created, and I believe will continue to be created for people to utilize, to captivate, and to recruit. And that can be profitable. And if it has been profitable for you or for others, then great. That's not the thrust of this conversation. So do read between the lines, and do gather your moderation where needed. Gather your rules where they are needed. These are views, opinions, and beliefs of LaShanna Moore of Holistically Well. And through Holistically Speaking podcast, and for those of you who happen to share the same concern or happen to be in the same place. That's who this conversation is for. Um, I do believe that because God is our creator, that he orders our steps, and he has the ability and does oftentimes use peers, use man, use influencers, use people in places that have opportunity and have influence and have acumen to build us, to promote us, to partner with us, to expose us to greater platforms and opportunities. I believe that he does that, and I have experienced it in my own life. But because I do believe that he is the creator of those things and his thoughts and ways are higher than mine, he becomes my first source now. So it's not a PR firm, it's not a marketing firm, it's not my peers. I do have those discussions, but my first person to turn to now in life and with this social media stuff is God. I have a business on social media as well, but with the direction that I have chosen to take it, it's not just about trying to give information, give information, give information. It is a very easygoing, lighthearted, felt um, atmosphere when you go onto Holistically Well Center page, that you can get information, that you can feel heard, that you can be inspired, that you can see some information that you can consider integrating into your life to see just how um, valuable it becomes in your journey to be well and be whole. So, be well and be whole has not just become a sub headline or a mantra or a motto. It has literally become the focus of life, being well and being whole in every area, because we experience a lot. Here's the thing that social media will not prepare you for and will separate the distinction when it comes to your individuality, is that life is going to present at all times. You're going to have seasons at all times. You're going to be in shifts at all times. And we will not always be able to have the vocabulary and the language to pinpoint where you are and what you specifically need to do, except you go to God first for that. And then go to your peers and your friends and your trusting sources just for additional wisdom. That's how I feel about it. I am a person that loves information. I love it. I love it. I love it. I am a student of life. I have books on books. I love intellectual conversations. I'm a sapiosexual. I love deliberate debate. I love all of that stuff. I'm a wordologist. I love it all. But I've also come to a place where I don't really want to receive a lot of information from social media. I see a lot of good stuff. I see a lot of good content. But I don't want all of my stuff coming from social media. And I don't like sarcastic education. I don't like people speaking sarcastically in order to inform, educate, or to educate. I don't. Again, opinions and thoughts and beliefs of my own. So let me give us some considerations as we move further into this dialogue, or I move into this further into this dialogue with you. And that would be, if you are where I am, or if you are identifying with the things that I have expressed, if you have concerns in the areas that I have expressed concerns in, the algorithm, the evolution, the personalities, the depression, anxiety, feeling stuck, the comparison. And listen, some of this, you all, I don't care who you are, the greatest of the greatest of the greatest of people. I don't care who you are. These things are going to happen because social media creators have taken such deliberate intention and approach in creating these platforms, from the ads, from the touch points, from what you spend time on. You've seen the shows on Netflix and other platforms about social media. I don't have to go into the backstory of them. You know all of these things. You know now how the machine runs. The deliberate intention that has been made by coming together um, with a think tank of professionals, from psychology to biology, to ensure their success. You're going to fall into rabbit holes. You're going to fall into pitfalls. You're going to fall into traps of different kind, where you're going to have to Remind yourself to take a step back and to reassess or to take a break. It's going to happen. That's how these platforms were created. So, with that being said, take a little pressure off yourself, breathe. It's not that you're weak, it's not that you have no willpower. Um, it's doing what it was supposed to do. What was meant to happen is happening. So, here are the considerations. I'm going to challenge you to take some time to really think about how you want your life to be directed and how you want life to be lived and how you want your business to operate with and without it, or with reduced exposure of it. I want you to also think about if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you have a side business, a side hustle, whatever, a personality, whatever it is that you do and you have gained traction on social media, I want you to consider how moving forward you're going to take ownership of your name. You are your brand. If everything crashes, if they flag you, if they cite you, if they take you off for a number of days, weeks, or months, what do? Who owns your content? Who is sharing your data? What does that mean? In other ways, how are you losing money because of your data, because of your content? We've seen the concerns throughout social media, particularly if you are a Black creator, a Black curator, how information and how your content is being shared, how your data is being spread. So all of you need to take serious consideration of what can I create that belongs to me? My intellectual property at the end of the day truly belongs to me. What am I doing that is creating a legacy of some sort for my name, for my brain, for my God given talent and skill? What am I creating online that belongs to me, under me, by me, provided by me, and where I garner the profit from that? You may want to assemble a group of people that can help dig into this for you. Um, you may want to take some time away from media influence so that it doesn't persuade your ideas and you can really get clear. You may want to fast and pray. You may want to meditate. You may want to call a time out on all things media. You may want to consider going a new direction. You may want to look into exploring something different. Just want to give you a few ideas of things to do. This is a very casual video. You see me. This is a very casual audio. You hear me. And these are things that I want us to consider. I want you to really think about here's the question: what is it going to take for me in this social media space to be well and to be whole? And then the second question and concern would be, what am I willing to do to achieve that? Because you're going to be drawn to the matrix. That's why it was created. You're going to be drawn to the idea that you're missing out because everybody, billions of people, are on social media. You're going to need to consider what your languaging is going to be to people when you say that you have reduced, removed, revised your presence on social media or your idea of social media. And you're going to have a conviction about it and to stand firm about whatever it is you're choosing to do. But we must be clear on a few things as I prepare to close. We must be clear on understanding what this platform is about, what this platform does. We need to be clear in understanding the good, the bad, and the ugly. We need to be clear with ourselves about how it makes us feel and behave. We need to be aware of the subconscious behavior that it may provide or that it may be causing. We need to be aware of the internal dialogue that we're having with ourselves when we're on it and when we're off of it. We need to start being very aware of how much time we're spending on it. Start really pray to develop a sensitivity in how many times you catch yourself grabbing for your phone, reaching for the app, all of these kind of things. That again, these are questions to consider for those of you who have burnout. And not just burnout in the sense of I just need to recharge, but burnout in the sense of something has got to change. And the platforms are not going to change. So I've got to change. I've got to change something. I've got to change my approach. I've got to change what I'm doing. And I have a desire to, but now I need my plan. And I've given a few suggestions as to how I believe would be beneficial in going about what that is. Listen, I want to live a good life. I want to live a well life. I don't need the presence. Some people need a voice and they find their voice on this platform. Some people need mindless activity because they are discontent in this moment of their lives. Some people need the platform because they want to share and they want to celebrate the good things that are happening. I agree with you. I like to do that as well. I'm a woman who is in the holistic field as well as the artistic field. And I love to share what I'm doing. I love to share what I'm creating. I love to share my victories, but I try to make sure that I'm doing that in an authentic way that doesn't come across as, any kind of perfection or, aspiration of some sort. Just being you, honey, is enough. A lot of people use it because they are grieving, they're hurting, they're in pain over something. And I have, shared some of my loss and my pain as well. The one thing I will say about it is to be very mindful and selective as to how you share and release and bleed and divulge, because your emotions are a very vulnerable thing. And I don't believe everyone deserves it. I believe a selected group of people deserve that precious part of you, that precious vulnerability. It does not deserve opinion. It doesn't deserve scrutiny. And I know you can say, well, I don't care. People can say what they want to say. And that, okay, I get that. But listen, at the end of the day, you are a precious being. And what you share and what you release should be approached and regarded the same way, as precious, as valuable, as worth being held and witnessed by someone who will not cast judgment or try to fix you even, but just will hold what I call holy space with you. And for me and to me, social media is not always that place. So, as I get ready to close out this episode, and welcome to the Burnout series, there are going to be some other areas of life that we're going to discuss. I thank you for listening. I thank you for being a part of this talk. And as always, feel free to submit questions and feedback. Do subscribe. We're on Apple Podcasts as well as all other digital platforms. I thank you for your time. I thank you for being a part of this space with me. You can find me, of course, on social media, but my very own platform, LaShannaleonardMoore.com. Which reminds me of the last thing I want to say. Figure out where you can go where you're not censored and the work that you do is not determined by what someone else deems as appropriate, and gets into all of these scandals and all of these different conspiracies. All right, that's it for now. Be well and be whole until the next time. As always, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.